We're back! Vikingo and Lou!
Let's get it, baby. Let's get
That's
it.
us, babe.
It's been
You ready for this?
2 years since our last podcast.
2 years. A lot has happened in 2 years.
Yeah, let's talk
We're
all
ready,
about it.
We're ready to share all about it, guys. This season, which is technically season 2, right? Am I allowed to say
Yes, that's
Right?
Yeah, season 2.
Season 2. We're kind of going to be revamping some things. We're really excited about it. Our podcast is going to be named Live Free with Vikingo and Lou. We've kind of gathered that motto or slogan or theme these past 5 years, I would say. It's something that really has resonated with us in the past 5 years. It's been a huge part of our journey, and we keep coming back to it as like this theme and this way of living and being that just really resonates with us. So this podcast is going to be called Live Free with Vikingo and Lou.
All right, let's get
How's that
into
feel?
it.
How's that feel, babe?
Well, it's always resonated, and it's every time somebody asks me what my goal is, freedom always comes up. And so freedom was always on my mind, and just figuring out what does it look like to live free.
Yeah, exactly. So that's kind of what we're going to be doing here in this podcast space, is discussing what freedom looks like. What does live free mean? And we're going to be we have potential guests planned and scheduled to come on here with us. So we're hoping to get a lot of people in here in this space with us to discuss like what live free means to them, what freedom means to them, what that looks like, what that feels like. I'm really excited about some fun conversations we're going to have with people we know and love, funky people, weird
Met some
people,
cool people the last few years.
I'm excited. So we're going to be talking about just freedom, mostly what that looks like in people's lives. So I'm excited to have those conversations. I think you can learn so much from other people. And that's something we've really been venturing into lately too, is just being open to having conversations that are rooted in just curiosity. I think is something I'm really interested in. And I love that. I love having open and curious mindset and conversations with people. So I'm excited to have those conversations as we grow this podcast and this space. Excited to be here with you, babe.
Let's do it.
You ready?
I'm ready.
Okay, well, let's dive on in. As I mentioned, Live Free is our new motto, slogan, and podcast name. So we're going to be focused primarily on that. Before we get started interviewing people, I really wanted to take this time and space to kind of interview each other. So this is kind of going to be like our interview with each other as to what Live Free means to each of us. So this is going to be your chance to see what that means to us. And then as we continue on with podcasts, you're going to be able to come back to this one and kind of root and understand what Live Free means here now. And then as we progress, you'll know what we mean when we say live free and what that means to us rooted deep within. So let's get started. Bronze, you're first. You're the first Live Free interviewee. Are you ready? And then you can interview me.
Does that mean I can take my shirt off? That sounds really freeing
right
now. Is that appropriate?
If that sounds freeing to you, you open up into your free space, babe.
Oh, that'd be nice.
I wore my peacock shirt because
I like it.
It resembles self-expression and else.
You're good at that.
I'm getting there. I'm getting good at that. That's been a process.
What else does it resemble?
Spiritual awakening as well.
Really?
And new beginnings. New beginnings.
I like it.
So, anyways, so you can take yours off. This is my self-expression free, living free shirt. So, you want to take it off? Full crystal?
I should probably do some push-ups first.
Okay. All right. Well,
next episode.
Next episode, guys, he'll be shirtless. We'll start it that way. I do like your crystal.
Thank you. So I got this from Masunte, from this really cool, inspiring kind of hippie lady that's just been a vagabond for the last 50 years. And it's got turquoise and an awesome crystal. I love it.
I love that.
Thank you.
You got that in Oaxaca?
Yes, in Masunte.
So cool.
Super cool town. I recommend it.
Yeah, it is a cool town. Highly recommend it. Go there. It's so fun. All right.
Let's do it.
You ready?
Let's get into what it means to live free.
I'm going to ask the question.
All right, ask me anything.
Oh, I didn't know it was that kind of podcast.
Well, we usually have these conversations. It's
we
normal.
We do have Ask Me Anything conversations. Okay, the question today, though, is not ask you anything. It's what does live free mean to you?
So it's kind of a hard question to answer. But the way I can describe it is living your full expression of self. And so expressing yourself fully as you live. And so I'll give an example of that so maybe it can kind of make sense. And so I'll give an example of an eagle, a caged eagle. And so you have an eagle in a cage and the owner's feeding it and the eagle's sitting in the cage. And you know it's an eagle, but it is not living free. It's not expressing itself the way that it should express itself as an eagle. And so, but it's being taken care of. And so it's in its safe place in the cage. But there's so much in life to explore and mountains to go to and the rivers and the coast and the ocean. And so as an eagle, it is not living free. And so what you do in this definition of living free is living your full expression is opening up that cage, even though it's scary, because the owner's giving you food, keeping you safe.
That's your
There's no
comfort
predators. It's comfortable. It's comfortable to be
That's what
that
you're used
eagle,
to.
right? Yeah. It's never gone and explored the peaks and the sunsets and the coast, and it hasn't confronted any predators in its life or any, things that may cause it to feel unsafe.
Mm-hmm.
And so living free is like letting that eagle out of the cage and spreading its wings and flying and discovering and exploring life and learning and to see the mountains and the trees and the rivers and the coast and just fully expressing all of its power as an eagle. It's a powerful bird. It's a powerful being. And like all of us, we are very powerful and we need to trust ourselves and our intuition and our abilities to be able to live the life that we would like to live and stay curious and express ourselves as an eagle and show the power and fly. And yes, on the way, you might go into a current and you might slam into a wall and you're going to learn, like, I slammed into that cliff. I'm going to avoid that current over there.
Predators will come.
And then you're going to have some predators come and you're going to know how to stay away. These things don't resonate. These things do. But at the end of the day, you've explored this life. You've been through the canyons. You've been through the highest of the skies. You've seen the most beautiful sunsets. You've seen everything explored, but you could have stayed in that cage of comfort. And that is not living free. Living in comfort and having things being provided for you to feel comfortable and safe is not free. And so for me, live free is living that full expression of yourself in this life.
Ooh, love that.
Does that make sense, Mom?
That was a good analogy. I love that analogy. Reminded me of as a kid, one of my favorite movies was Spirit. Did you ever watch that one with the horse?
Yes. I think
Spirit?
You introduced it to me.
Maybe I did. It was one of my favorite movies when it came out. And the opening scene is just him just galloping through I don't even know where it took place. It was kind of like a deserty vibe. And Bryan Adams is the guy that does the soundtrack of it. And he has this like raspy, awesome voice. And he's just galloping through this just tons of land. And I swear there's like a hawk or eagle following him. I think it's an eagle.
Oh, really?
So maybe that's why I pictured the two together.
I like
the eagle and the horse just...
I like both analogies because the horse...
If you've seen Spirit, you know what I'm talking about. Where are my Spirit fans at?
Because I loved it.
So good.
I'm glad you brought that up. Mm-hmm. I love to see like free range, like horses out in the open, these Mustangs just in the full expression. And I just don't really like to see them caged up.
Yeah, no, it's a really good analogy. I can relate to it a lot too in my journey.
What about you? What does live free mean to you?
So to me, live free means living a life based in radical self-awareness and discovering who you are, discovering your soul in the process. So staying aware, but also discovering. So it's like this back and forth, like radical self-awareness, exploration and discovery, radical self-awareness, exploration and discovery. Mm-hmm. And it's this constant balancing of the two. And I'm going to pull out my phone real quick, guys, because I had something I wanted to share. that really stood out to me. Also, oh, and it's also like, so you're able to explore and express and be that eagle and fly and soar, but you're rooted in, you're grounded in wholeness.
Yes.
And also love, not fear, but love and wholeness. And that's where that like self-awareness comes and that groundedness, because sometimes when we picture like live free, it's like, sometimes I just picture like this girl with her top off riding down the highway on the back of like a motorcycle with her boyfriend driving, and it's just
I
like
think
this.
you've done that. Maybe not.
Probably. And it feels, I mean, that is like a state of living free. Like it for me, it was a part of my live free process, because to me, live free is like this mountain we're climbing, right? I'm not anywhere near the top of the live free climb, but we are definitely climbing, I would say.
Yes.
I'm climbing pretty steadily. You are too. So yeah, there was a stage to me where that's what live free looked like and meant. And I actually explored that area. The part of me that wasn't quite developed yet in that stage of my live free, like, on the back of a motorcycle vibe, was the groundedness aspect and the self-awareness aspect. And so, and like finding my wholeness aspect. And so I'm really glad that we're kind of in a place right now where that's all coming together. And as you're climbing that live free mountain, just realize that there's stages to it, and all those stages are beautiful. But man, as you can start to piece more and more of your soul together, it gets to be the most beautiful climb and journey ever. There's this quote that really stood out to me about what like personal freedom looks like, because I feel like live free is very much like, to me, that also can mean like personal freedom.
Yeah.
And your personal freedom journey. And there's this quote I found from one of my favorite psychologists online. She said, understanding your true nature rather than your past conditioning is what personal freedom means to her. So personal freedom is understanding your true nature rather than your past conditioning. And I think that's something me and you have both had to kind of work through. A lot of past conditioning has happened with both of us. We grew up in a very I would call it an extreme religious background. We grew up with very strict homes. We grew up, at least I grew up, very politically conservative, in a very politically conservative home with very extreme ideologies. It was a very black and white home. So there was a lot of just extreme ways of believing. And something why I love that quote so much is because I've had to learn, in growing up in such a conservative and more of an extremist kind of home, I've had to learn what parts of that, because there are parts of it that are beautiful and have stuck with me and are true to my nature. What parts of it are true to my nature and what parts of it are not. And the process of trying to dissect and go through that has been quite the journey. And I mean, we're 32, like we're not young kids anymore, but there's still so much that happens in your past conditioning, and we're still being conditioned today, right? I know I am. But what pieces resonate with your soul from your past conditioning and what pieces don't, and then reevaluate and change and reroute. That's super important to do. I know an experience I had, and as I was thinking about prepping for this podcast, is just, I remember growing up so conservative. Like my dad ran for Congress. He was very politically passionate. Like he's such a passionate human being when it comes to politics. Ran for Congress a couple times, I think 3 times, ran for a judge, county judge, I believe, so many different positions. And he's very passionate about his beliefs in terms of like Republican. So we all grew up with very Republican ideas. And I remember just kind of being programmed to believe Republican ideology at a young age. And as I got older, I started having friends that had maybe some different human rights beliefs. And I had a lot of friends that were in the LGBTQ community. I had a lot of friends that were struggling with and actually one of my best friends had to get an abortion when I was in high school. And I remember her confiding with me about that. And so I remember all these human rights issues coming up in my life as I was getting older, and really siding with more of a democratic side of that. And I'm going home and getting very conflicting views on that. But my soul is like, oh, I don't resonate with the human rights of the Republican side. But my soul resonates with this belief. So there's there started to be conflict there. And that conflict is where you get to choose your path, your soul, and those conflicts will come up throughout your life, not just in terms of politics, but in all sorts of aspects where your soul feels one way and society or your friend or your parents or an institution says something else. And when those moments of conflict come up, you need to be self-aware and you need to address those with yourself, and you need to choose your soul's path. You need to choose your soul's path because that's the path to living free.
Yeah, that just takes experience in your journey and trying things out to see what resonates with your soul. And so the question is, how do you know what resonates with your soul? You know,
You'll feel it.
And so for me, it's a feeling,
Mm-hmm.
It's a vibration. And so I just go through the feelings and vibrations that I'm feeling. And so like, there's like the depression or the anger or the sadness and all these low vibrational feelings, right? Or confusion and all that stuff. And then also you have happiness, you having like excitement, then you have joy, and then you feel alive, like live free. It's live, living. And so as soon as something is aligning me with those higher vibrations, I know that's what my soul enjoys. But if I'm like stagnant or frustrated or any of these low vibrational feelings, I know it's not resonating with my soul. And so when I decide to follow my soul into what's like tugging my heart, and I do that,
Mm-hmm.
whether in business or relationships or conversations or trips or whatever it may be, as I'm flying and trying things out, and it brings in happiness, if it brings in joy, if it lights up my soul and gives me more energy, that's when I know I am aligned with my soul and living free.
I love that you mentioned your heart, because that's the guide for me, at least.
Oh, yes.
That's the guide to living free. Your heart is free. Your heart is free. And so listening and learning to live from your heart and not from your mind so much in the analytical brain, but learning to live from your heart. I feel like that's where that live free life can be grounded from.
And so I think that's good for people to tune in, like, okay, how do I live free? What resonates with me or my soul? A good thing is pay attention to how you feel.
And that's going to look different for everyone, you know? And so, and be okay with the fact that not everyone's going to agree with you, and be okay with the fact that they are also living free from their perspective. You know?
Yeah. Every expression
good.
Looks different.
Mm-hmm.
Like the eagle's expression is different than a tiger's expression or a horse's expression. And so
and it's beautiful.
Everything has a different expression. And so it shouldn't all look the same.
Yeah.
None of us should look all the same.
Yeah.
Because we're totally unique, divine souls expressing in different ways.
Yeah. When you were mentioning the heart, one of my favorite authors is Don Miguel Ruiz, and his son, Don Jose Ruiz, says this about what personal freedom means to him. He said, it's a place of radical... Oh, wait, wrong one. He says, when your heart and mind are ruled by love and not fear.
Yeah.
It comes from examining the mind's domestication and releasing any unhealthy beliefs or ideas that we find there.
I really like that. That resonates with me.
When your heart and mind are, what did it say? Rooted in love.
Love and not fear.
So that goes back to like just following your soul, listening to your heart, being in tune with your emotions and your feelings when something comes up that maybe conflicts with something you've been told to believe. And then making a shift.
And it's hard.
Making a shift.
And it's hard because we're programmed to like try to be comfortable, try to be safe. And that comes from fears, that comes from survival and ego. And that's what's kept us alive. And so it's like, it's really easy to stay in that cage as that eagle and just be like, okay, I don't want to go outside because there's a predator, or I haven't tried flying yet. And so what if my wings don't work? Or shoot, am I a strong eagle? Am I a weak eagle? Maybe these other eagles are going to make fun of me, you know? And so, but it's going into love and like trusting your soul and your expression and your strength and just flying. And so when you have your mind and your heart aligned in that love and not making decisions out of fear, because if you're going to make decisions out of fear, it's going to control your whole life, and you're going to, don't do it. Don't do it.
Don't do it, guys.
And so I even have a tattoo right here after a plant medicine ceremony. It says, feel more, think less. And that's about me getting more. It's a reminder to always get more into my heart because I am a very analytical person. And so, but that caused me a lot of anxiety and depression through a lot of my life. And so I love how it feels when I make decisions out of love and my heart is open. And so thanks for sharing it.
Yeah. So guys, as you learn to navigate and follow your heart and your soul and your truest self, you will slowly be climbing that mountain of that live free mountain. And I think at the top is just fullest expression of your truest
and you're dancing on the climb too.
Self.
This trail is beautiful.
Oh yeah, it's a fun hike.
It's a fun hike
for sure. But that's the goal, right? Fullest expression of your soul. And
what's that gonna look like?
Oh, I don't even know. I'm excited though. I don't even think I'll reach it in this life, but I'll try and get as close as I can.
Well, you just have all these moments. You have all these moments, and every time I've seen you get into your expression, it's just that moment was beautiful, and that moment was beautiful, and the more expression, and even with myself, when something comes through that I've never felt or expressed, and I do it in ways like it's not like, okay, this end goal, I hope I can get there someday. It's just this constant dance with life. And so, yeah. And we're just getting used to it. Like, I'm just barely getting used. I'm 36 and I'm just learning how to express. And I think I'll just be doing that for the rest of my life. We're just constantly learning how to express. You feel and express, and then learning to be comfortable with that.
And then you play in that and you create in that space. And then as you learn more things, you redirect and you go that way and then you go that way. And it's just this constant evolution. It's been a really beautiful process.
Yes.
Really beautiful process. I mean, even our podcast just 2 years ago had a totally different vibe and energy. I feel like I remember I was still kind of in a place of pain with religious turmoil. And I felt a lot of probably still some like rebellious energy coming through, a little bit of anger, a little bit of kind of some negative energies. And I feel like we've kind of moved past that. And now we're kind of more into like a creative expressive state. So not to say those feelings won't ever arise with something else, but it's just a constant dance with life. I love how you said that. Yeah. Dance with life. Dance with it, guys. Wow. That was good.
Yeah.
Next question. You ready for it?
What's the next question?
So now that you kind of understand what live free means to each of us, how do you live free? Like, what does that look like? What does that look like? We can kind of just go back and forth on that, but we'll start with you. How do you live free?
And so like for me, it's just, it's a lot of discovery. And so it's like, sometimes I don't even know what it's going to look like until I try it. And so it's staying curious all the time.
Oh.
Like maybe going like to a new music festival. That was a new thing getting me out of my comfort zone when Lou was like booking music festivals. And then I was like, I was very hesitant. Like, I don't know if I fit in here. Like, I'm just this country boy raised conservative going to this like EDM type festival. And then I get there and it just felt amazing. And then I learned how to dance and I learned how to move and feel the music. And then I ended up loving it. And so now I love music festivals. And so like staying curious and discovering new things. And then one thing like on the day-to-day, I try to tap in with my soul in the morning. And so like to see what's resonating in my life and what's not. And that could be in work, that could be in relationships, that could be with myself. Like, are there certain habits I'm creating that aren't resonating? So
he's really good at his morning routine. And I think it is it's very, very rooted in that check-in with yourself.
Because we can get lost in the systems of life. We can get lost in the busyness of life, of work, or being a parent, or being a business owner, or just whatever it is. Like life can consume you really quick. And so I like to check in, do a little meditation, and then I like to visualize. And so I'll write everything down, like what I would like to do in my life that resonates with my soul. And so it's like places I like to travel, the person I'd like to be, where I'd like to live, what my relationship looks like. And so I check in with that and to see daily, okay, what resonates? What resonates? And then make a plan for maybe the day or the week, and start doing the things that resonate with my soul, or planning a trip, or like, oh, in business, I'm going to stay away from this certain person in business that wants to do business with me, or this opportunity, because it's not really resonating. And so I have to have that space in the morning to really check in with myself, because then I'll agree to things that don't resonate, and I don't want to get back in that cage again. And so that's something that I do daily. Just you got to take 30 minutes out for yourself and check in with yourself, so you don't get caught up in living a life that you don't want to live. And one other thing, I've become pretty dang good at saying no.
He's very good at that.
And saying yes.
Way better than me. And saying yes.
And I'm getting better at saying yes. Like Lou's like, hey, let's go to this festival. I'm like, yes, let's do it. All in.
The night before, he's like, oh my gosh, we're doing this again.
And then it turns out to be amazing.
And then he freaking loves it.
Yeah.
Because everyone is in their fullest expression of self there.
Yeah, I recommend that. And then like say no. Like if something doesn't resonate with you, then just say no. Mm-hmm. Just say no. It's if you feel like it's not going to be good for your soul, or it's going to be a waste of your time, or if that you don't want to be around that energy or vibe, or you don't want to be around like a certain energy that's damaging to your soul, just be comfortable. Get better and better at saying no. And the more you say no and the more you say yes, the better you get at it. And then the better your life gets.
Yeah, you've gotten really good at that just recently. Like over the past 2 years, I would say. Like he is not a people pleaser. Not at all. Like he knows I think that also comes with a level of self-awareness that you have. I think
it's self-awareness, and then also just like respecting myself.
Yeah.
And there's a way to say it, but like,
yeah, you're getting better at that.
You need to respect yourself in this living free,
Your mom would be proud. You're getting a lot more gentle at your no's and yeses.
Yeah. Constantly. I'm trying, and that's just staying in that heart space,
Yeah. It is hard though, but I think you are a very self-aware person, and with that self-awareness comes a level of self-respect, like you just said. And so you're honoring that in your no and in your yes. It's really just an honoring of that self-awareness.
Yes.
Yeah. You hold that a lot stronger than I do, for sure.
And you've tapped into that a lot lately. Like you've been coming into your wholeness this past years. It's been beautiful. And so like, this chick.
Yeah, but he's much better at it.
And so what does it look like for you?
The thing I've struggled with the whole live free concept is I'm very much a flowy. I don't overthink. I don't overanalyze. I don't live in my mind. I honestly naturally live from my heart. Like that's just who I am.
True that.
It's how I was born into this world. Thank you, Mama and Dad. It's just me, and I'm finally at the place where I can say like it's just who I am. It's just who my soul is. It's just how I naturally behave. So an issue for me with stepping into this live free state is the whole like motorcycle girl with the shirt off, just like going wherever the world's gonna take her, right? So I haven't had an issue with the live free side. The part that I've had to work on in order to like live in this live free mindset is the groundedness aspect, the self-awareness aspect, the aspect that needs guidance. Like, but Lou, who are you? Where are you taking us? Why are we doing this? Where are we going? Because I'm down to just float around through life, which can be problematic. And I've had a lot of really scary moments in my life because of my nature. And I've had to step into some serious self-knowing and serious self-awareness in order to create a grounded space for myself, because it's not something I naturally have. So I've had to create that. And one thing that has really helped me find that and find out who I am and discover who I am and step into my divine self and hold myself with more self-respect and on a more grounded path has been plant medicine. It has shown me my true nature. It has shown me my divinity. It has shown me just so much on this path. I can't even really go into it. It's just so beautiful, but it's something I've really needed, because sometimes when you leave a structured religion, and it's like, the rug is just literally pulled straight from under you, and that was your whole entire belief system, and there was all your systems and rules and regulation, and it kind of kept you on a somewhat of a path, right? Because it does do that really well.
Yeah.
It will keep you on a path. We've had to create that path ourselves, and there's no one else doing that for you when you step out of that. It's you. That path is up to you to create. Those rules are up for you to create. So that's a lot of work. That's a lot of work.
Yeah, there's no manual. There's no manual
no.
to live free,
No.
And live in this journey that we're on.
So that's kind of, I've been able, through plant medicine ceremonies, specifically ayahuasca, has really helped me find myself. And then I've been able to integrate things that I've discovered about who I am into my life, and then really been able to like ground myself in Lou, which has been amazing. So, and also we kind of are yin yang in that. Like, you're very much the grounded one and I'm very much the flowy one. So Bronson has also helped me a lot in that aspect. And I feel like we've kind of helped each other in that balance. But living free for me requires a lot of groundedness. So a morning routine or a time to just be silent and check in with where I'm at has been life-changing too. And just staying curious with life. Always.
But you, this past year, finding your wholeness has been like extremely beautiful to witness, because you have this flow and all this beauty. And then after that ayahuasca ceremony, I was like, wow, this is a divine goddess with this like self-respect, but then also not enabling your flow.
Right.
And so still sharing all the beauty, but from a place of wholeness and love, and not of a lack or anything like that. Like, you saw yourself and got to know yourself on this more divine level. And it was the most beautiful thing that I've witnessed.
Thanks. Me too.
And
Among other, I mean, your journey's been beautiful too, but yeah, it's been beautiful for me to witness that too in myself. And I think that's why this whole message of live free, I think when some people hear it, they think of the same image that I, maybe initially stepped into that space with. But, oh man, there's so much more to it. There's so much more wholeness to it. And if as long as you can stay rooted and grounded in wholeness on this journey, it's so beautiful. It's so beautiful.
Yeah, like if you have the goal of like, if you could picture yourself, the highest expression of yourself in its full glory and divinity and like that, and living free in that space, that's beautiful. That's beautiful. And then living free in that space as your higher self in its wholeness, that's going to bring you joy. That's going to be happiness. That's going to bring you all the excitement about life. And so that is my goal, is tapping into what resonates with my soul at those higher vibrations and as my higher self, and living free in that space of beauty.
Yeah. And also just learning to honor your soul's feedback. I think that's been a huge lesson for us too.
You try something out. Did you like it? Did it feel good?
How did it
not feel good?
Check in. How did that feel? How did that Friday night drinking with your friends feel? Okay, write it down. Journal your thoughts. Journal how you felt in that moment. Are you going to go do it again? Is that the path for you? Are you going to, should we, what's this called? Realign. No, readjust. What's the word I'm looking for?
Change directions.
Yeah,
course correct.
Course correct is good.
Course
it's not
correct.
the word I was looking for, but course correct. So, I mean, there's been so many times, because me and you used to kind of be in kind of a social drinking scene, and we would go out a lot, and we did that life. And it got to a point where we finally had some really awful nights, right?
Yeah.
And you have to listen to your soul's feedback. Like, it got to a point where we sat down and was like, what's going on? Like, what is wrong with us? Why aren't we
why does what once felt good not feel good anymore? And so like things change. And so there was a time in our expression where we had left our religion that was super conservative, and then we wanted to just go have fun and try things out. And so explore. And so like going out and socially drinking and stuff like that was fun. The first year or two was fun. But then as we tried more things out and developed more things within our soul and just discovered more about life, then it got to the point I'm like, hey, why is it not fun
This doesn't
anymore?
feel good.
This doesn't feel good. It doesn't resonate with my soul anymore, but it once did, but now it doesn't. Are you feeling that way? And so we check in with each other with these super honest conversations, but hey, because at first she was like, yeah, I'm done. And I was like, I was like, yeah, done. Like I'm done, but I'm not done. Like I want to go see my friends and go out, and I need like social, but then I'd do it, and then I'd be back in this.
He would do it, and he'd come home so depressed, anxiety in the morning,
I don't feel good anymore.
I'm just standing there like,
she was right.
Told you so. Told you so. Do we need to have a little soul check in here? Yes. Because the feedback coming back is no bueno. Like and that's where you redirect. And it doesn't, I'm not dissing on like drinking. I think choose whatever resonates with you in the moment.
We still have some drinks, but like the settings have changed.
Check in.
And check in with yourself.
And redirect.
And then also the thing there, like as us as couples, holding space for each other in their journeys. Mm-hmm. And so like Lou held space for me while I was doing things that she knew wasn't the best for my soul, like putting myself in the wrong situations.
But I couldn't tell you that.
But then I found out on my own and finally just stopped. Finally stopped and started doing different activities that resonate with my soul. But she held space for me in my journey. Yeah.
Yep. Holding space, and then just also holding each other accountable, but not with like that pressure or control aspect, just kind of setting an example of where your soul wants to resonate and be and live from.
Which is good because you can't really control anybody or change anybody, but you can be. Yeah. And that's just it. You just be that. And then me feeling that love, that light, and like, I'm tired of my own shit. Like, I like this. Mm-hmm. And so, but on this journey of living free, like the way we're living our lives today, in 2 more years from now, it's going to look different.
Yeah, for sure.
And so we're just constantly going with the flow of our soul constantly and seeing what resonates.
It's a dance, right?
It's a dance with life.
It's a dance with life. All right, guys. Thank you for joining us in our first episode. I'm really excited about all the conversations we have coming up in the future as we live free.
We have a lot to talk about.
We do. We have a lot to talk about. Just remember to honor your soul on this journey. Can't wait to have more conversations with you guys. We love you. Thank you for being here.
Love y'all.
Bye.